So you don't believe in prayer, do you? It amazes me on a regular basis. I hear believers that don't think prayer works. They believe in God. They've prayed to God. They've accepted God, but they don't think prayer works. Let me tell you a story. So my story begins back in 2016. I was running marathons and doing triathlons and have always been a gym rat. I was in my early mid-50s at that time, and I started having shortness of breath, problems breathing. I'd get 2 or 3 miles into my fun runs, and I had to stop. And my fun runs used to be 10, 12-mile fun runs. Just for fun, I'm going to go out and run 10, 12 miles. I know a lot of people are like, you're nuts. And yes, I am nuts. So because I'm a guy who kind of is a guy, I didn't say anything really about it. I didn't tell my wife about it or anything else, but it kept getting worse and worse and worse. So eventually I told my wife about it. And I was like, my lungs hurt and I can't breathe and I can't run. So in 2018, she says, okay, we got to go to the doctor. I said, I don't want to. So this fight went on for, I don't know, some number of months. We finally go to a doctor, and the doctor says, well, we went to a cardiologist, we went to a pulmonologist. They said, hey, there's some stuff in your lungs, but we don't know what it is. So just as they're trying to figure out what's going on, I have a major issue. And they send me to the ER. And the ER says, okay, you got to go do this. And everybody sent me back and forth. So then they sent me in for a CT scan. And they said, okay, you really need to go in and have an exploratory surgery, a biopsy. And the biopsy really is just they're sticking a needle in here. They're going to go into my lungs, suck stuff out and say, okay, this is what's going on. There was nothing showing as far as a mass or anything goes. But turns out, exactly where, so there was a lot of prayer going on, hey, hope we can find out what's causing this and get it taken care of. So that prayer led to the doctor hitting a tumor that had not shown up on the CAT scan, hadn't shown up on any of the x-rays. Literally runs a needle, smaller than this, into a tumor, smaller than that, on my lung. So he goes out to my wife and says, hey, to my wife, who's out in the waiting room with my best friend and all the world, who's holding her hand during this process, and says, hey, it's not going to be a 20-minute process. We're going to be a little bit longer. 4 hours later, they come out and say, your husband's out of surgery, he's in recovery, life is going good, we got the cancer. Didn't know there was any cancer, so this came as a huge surprise. So then I wake up in ICU, and I'm told the same thing. Mr. Warren, congratulations, good luck, answered prayer. We got the cancer. Now, in getting the cancer, they cut me from here to here. Used the rib spreaders. Now, I will tell you this, folks, if anyone offers you the opportunity to have yourself cut in half and then rib spreaders, just tell them no. That is no fun whatsoever, I can tell you. So, 2018 to 2019, October to mid-19, April, May 19, I'm in recovery and I'm back in the gym because, remember, I'm a guy and I'm a gym rat. And they told me to stay out of the gym for a year. And, of course, I listened really, really well. My wife was undoubtedly not happy with that. So, but I never get my breath back. I never get my breathing. But in the process, when they did the surgery, they found out I had what's called sarcoidosis all through my lungs. And that is an autoimmune disease that attacks your healthy cells. So those were attacking the healthy cells in my lungs, which is why I wasn't getting oxygen and I wasn't able to run and I wasn't able to run for long times. All I could do was anaerobic exercise. That's okay. I've always been a gym rat. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Well, along comes 2021. So I've had cancer brewing and had all these issues going on. 2021, once again, October, which has turned out to be a great month for me and my wife. I have a terrible pain in my lower left side. So we go into the hospital again. They go in and they do all of their things and everything. And the ER doctor comes out and says, Mr. Warren, terrible news. We found out what's wrong with your thing, and that's because your cancer is eating your lower spleen. It's causing what's called infarctions, which eat your spleen. So the cancer cells are eating your spleen. And I was like, well, that can't be good. Any way you cut it, that can't be good. And what do you mean I have cancer? And they said, oh yeah, you got cancer. Once again, great way to find out you have cancer. So they sent me to a bunch of people. I hooked up, back up with my oncologist. My oncologist said, Jay, don't worry about it. This is a form of leukemia. There's a gazillion forms of leukemia. There's cures for all of them. Yours, it would appear, has been caught fairly early, but we're still waiting on some test results. There's only one that's bad. There's no cure. There's no anything hope for. You get that, you're going to die. So, okay, great. Next day, he comes in and says, Jay, guess remember how I told you there was only one that was really bad? You got it. So I was like, okay, so my wife and I are talking about that, chatting about that. And once again, the whole prayer line is on, okay? So we've got people praying for us on the East Coast, the West Coast, Central Coast. Kurt's praying for us. His wife's praying for us. Everybody's praying for us. We've got more people praying for us than Carter's Got Pills. It's just a huge prayer chain of prayer warriors praying constantly. And you say, well, Jay, this doesn't seem like this prayer stuff is working for you, right? Yeah, I'm still here. It's working wonderfully, okay? So the prayer is working and it's working wonderfully. So we go in, we figure out what all is going on with this, and we figure out, okay, it's called mantle cell lymphoma. There's no cure for it. There's no anything. There's no magic pill. All there are trials. There's a bunch of different trials going on, none of which offers a cure, but a number of them offer enhanced stages that can keep you going. You can get another 2 years, you can get another 3 years, whatever the case may be. So they start doing trials, and the fun trials are the ones they started on the first quarter I was on them. We actually had Red Death, which they had to give me in hazmat suits because the chemo was so bad, it would eat through their clothing and their scrubs. So they had to have full hazmats on. And this is stuff they're pumping directly into my chest. Makes you wonder. So anyway, we're once again praying and praying and praying and praying. We get through the first protocol. I lose all my hair. I drop 40 pounds. I feel bad most of the time. But a lot of the time, I have good days. And I thank God every day, every day. And we keep praying every day, every day. When the doctor gave me the prognosis, he said, look, if you do nothing, and this was around Halloween, he says, if you do nothing, you've got 90 days, 3 months, that's it. You're dead. You're in advanced stage 4 terminal lymphoma. Have a nice day. So we can try these protocols and see what happens. And we may have to jump back and forth between them to see what happens. So I look at my wife looks at me, and I was like, well, see you later, honey, I'll be gone in 90 days. She didn't like that answer. She was like, what's behind door number 2? And door number 2 is we can try all these trials. She said, I'm not letting you go in 90 days. And the Lord has more for us to do. So once again, we're heavy prayer chaining. We're calling everybody we know, and everybody on Facebook, and everybody on all the social media knows Jay needs your prayers. We make it past, it was February 1st, we make it past February 1st. This has been almost 2 years now, and I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm still kicking, and I am having a blast. We've been through 4 different protocols now, and I'm still living it, I'm living the dream. I grew my hair back, I was so happy about that. Weird things bother you when you're after 60 and you don't have your hair, but you should have your hair. So, in summation, what I want you to understand and want you to know, prayer works. Pray every day. Pray unceasingly. Pray and ask God to talk to you. Ask God to listen to you. If you ask, He will answer. Now, you may not like the answers. I didn't like the vomiting and the losing the hair and all of the stuff. I'm on my 4th protocol right now. And in this process, I've had the cancer attack my appendix and have to have an emergency appendectomy with an appendix the size of a cantaloupe. I've gotten shingles in my eye, and that almost killed me. Then after that, I went home from the hospital and I got sepsis, and I was back in ICU. I spent February and March in ICU. They didn't know if I was coming or going. Twice I had doctors tell my wife, we don't know if he's going home or going to the morgue. Guess what? Prayer works. There is no better person to tell you about how God acts. And you know how Peter and Paul claimed that they were the worst sinners? I had them beat, hands down. I have not always lived a godly life. He has not forgotten me. Prayer works. And that's all, folks.